Yes, legends, we are live. Let's go. How is everybody doing? Let's analyze the situation here for the price of Bitcoin. Let me know if you can hear me, if you can see me. Everything's connected. Oh yes, we are live. Let's go. Price of Bitcoin slowly grinding to the upside. We're going to talk about what were the levels that we were mentioning yesterday, guys, because we are at a crucial point right now, right? Are we going to get a massive big breakout, or are we going to just roll over from here? This is it, guys. You know, this market is still very downtrending, or are we just consolidating here to get a nice little squeeze to the upside, right? Will we manage to push through, get a break, okay, or at least an attempt to break the highs here from Sunday? Or is this just fake, guys? This is all fake. The market is downtrending. It's just going to find resistance in this zone. It might get a liquidity grab to the upside and then roll back down again, guys, as we are downtrending on the 1 hourly, 4 hourly time frame, right? Of course, on the daily, we are still uptrending, right? You might see this as, you know, the price is bottoming out here, right? We are holding this support. The price is ready to just smack out, go to 90K, 95K. Well, most importantly, we need to zoom in on the lower time frames, guys. That is what we specialize ourselves, right? We are interested in getting into intraday setups, right? What are the best scenarios that we have on the lower time frame? Of course, we need to analyze very carefully this entire structure from the bottom, right? Then I like to see in this structure internally, right? This is what we like to do. Yesterday, we were focusing for most of the live stream, okay, on this local structure, right? Trying to analyze what the heck is going on here, right? Is this moving down impulsively? Is this corrective? Is this part of a larger corrective move? Who was here on yesterday's stream, guys? Let me know. As you do, smash up that like button on your way in, okay? Because we'll be talking about eventually what was mentioned yesterday, right? Most importantly is we don't come up with new stuff every day and change our ideas all the time and just forget about what we mentioned yesterday. We try and do a follow-up, right? And yesterday's follow-up from yesterday from this range was actually trying to come to the conclusion of, is this going to get a move down, or are we going to form a sideways corrective move and then push to the upside to attempt to hit the highs of Sunday, which is at just $86,100. We almost hit it today. You know, can we manage to push over? We'll be going through the lower time frames, guys. This is what we love best, right? Yesterday's scenario, we were looking at, hey, maybe there is a chance for this, right? Maybe there is a chance that we move down here in an A wave, right? This is your B wave flat. We got a first leg down. Maybe this could be it. However, if we were to take out these highs, then we have another scenario, right? What was that scenario? That scenario was a WXY. We were looking for a flat structure here to sweep up these lows. Who remembers yesterday looking at, hey, we're moving up right now, a fast move down to claim $84,000 range, right? The low 84K levels, and then head to the upside, right? We do not know what the price is going to do next, right? But we can map some levels and some scenarios. Let me know if anybody managed to jump into this long position, right? Because it was, you know, it wasn't easy. You know, there was a possibility of this wick coming down to the lows or hitting the 1.618. 1.618 extension was missed. But the overall idea of rejecting from this area with a B wave flat to come and sweep up the lows and then hold the 84K zone and start climbing up again to potentially have a bullish breakout is definitely there. So we need to continue talking about this, right? The chances here, eventually now we're just a few $100s away from hitting the highs, is, you know, actually attempting the breakout, right? So yesterday in this region, very confusing. I know it might sound like Chinese and it might sound like this dude with his waves, right? And the flat here and then this, that, you know, might sound like a bunch of rubbish, right? I do understand that, because eventually if anybody doesn't have, you know, the knowledge of really coming to see how the price could move in this region, then eventually a lot of people are going to become bored or won't understand it. And, you know, I need your attention, because all of this is part of learning, guys. All of this is part of learning. So yesterday, we did focus on this scenario a lot. Okay. However, there was really no trade setup. Maximum, there was a short position here that was provided in the Discord by Aiden. Eventually, as you sweep up the lows, you want to consider taking profit on a consolidation, right? You sweep some lows, you're SFPing, you want to consider the take profit, and there's no short position to be taken here, right? It is very risky, because what could happen is that you do form this WXY, right? We get above this high right over here, we get back down to the lows, and then we head to the upside, right? Then we can continue this uptrend. This is basically what has happened right over here based on yesterday's analysis, right? We're looking at a possible move down, sweep up the lows, and then 84K zone to maintain, maybe get a dip, but overall kind of swing failure pattern from these lows. I'm not sure if some of you actually got into a long position here, right? This was the long. Some people shorted the 0.88 Fibonacci, which was, I have to say, I really do like the 0.88, and it could have been an aggressive short trade all the way down to the lows, right? You get out here. As soon as you sweep up the lows, you need to get out and then consider the long trade. It comes very stressful, right? If you're not like on the chart and knowing exactly what you're looking for. But the 0.88 was respected from this movement. We swept the lows, which was the overall idea, right? Will we just sweep up the lows, or will we push down a little bit more and then continue to the upside? Well, it was a relatively, nice little sweep of the lows of yesterday, right? Finally getting that movement down here and then climbing to the upside, right? This is basically the scenario that was looked at by the end of the stream. Let's sweep up the lows, start climbing up, right? So what is next? That is the question. Next moves, next possibilities. This is why you are here. This is why we need that like button absolutely destroyed, guys, because we do not know what the price can do next. We do have levels. We do have confluence. We do have projections that, what could happen. And, the latest scenario based on claiming this high yesterday was this WXY, right, with the flat in the Y wave. So we kind of build up, right? If this level is hit, then these lows can be hit, and then we can move to the upside. So the overall trading setup here is, yeah, you can get into the long in this SFP from the lows, right? You're sweeping up the lows, or you can actually wait for a confirmation sign of strength, right? Which is this first initial move to the upside. This basically can be your first wave one, right? Or your A, B, C, or your 1, 2, 3. This is the wave that you want to get in, of course, right? This is why many times we look for, if we form a zigzag move down and you want a confirmation, you want to see the bounce here, right, to the upside in a 5-wave move, and then the corrective move with some bullish CVD divergence, and then look for that next wave up, which you want to be in, right? So this long position here, if you get in as an SFP, it is aggressive. You need to accept a stop loss beneath the low, or you can wait for your first initial recovery, corrective move, have bullish CVD divergence, which we did have when we do take a look at CVD divergence, whatever software you're using. We did have some lower lows pretty aggressively on the CVD as we were forming higher lows here, lower lows on CVD, lots of people shorting the market in this region with lower low CVDs, giving you that really nice move to the upside to, attempt to hit the highs from Sunday, which are not hit. So what is next, right? I would be looking for the next trading setup, right? Because what we want to be in, we want to be in a good setup, right? We cannot just say, I'm long, I'm short. We're entering a long right now. We're entering a short right now. We want to know exactly, a good setup, right? Either for a short or either for a long. So that's what we're going to come, okay, and, basically analyze on this stream, guys, okay? So make sure to destroy the like button, because it does take time as the price action develops to try and figure out what is going to happen next, right? Because we are going to focus with the next possible movements. We are really going to put our, all our knowledge and experience to try and come to the conclusion on what could be the next movements, right? so we can jump into a high probability trade. That's what it's all about, right? Just like yesterday throughout the end, right? We were leaning on a possible bearish case, which was there until we hit the invalidation. And then we get a new setup, right? We get a new possibility, which was this WXY, a flat here in the Y wave, which was what we mentioned yesterday, right? To get that 84K zone. And then we're looking for the recovery here to the highs and maybe break out, right? Maybe it is going to attempt to break out. So this is what we need to talk about now throughout the stream. And of course, as always, we need to build up the hype, guys. We need to build up the hype. We need to build up the, the like button, because I have some stuff ready. I have some stuff that I'm going to go from scratch, right? Build up so you can see how we build up the analysis from zero, right? I don't want to have it here ready and just put it on the chart. We want to kind of build it up together. So then you can obviously learn as well, right? We learn from zero. Make sure to destroy that like button, guys. We're not getting too much love, right? People are tired of crypto, of trading, right? But here we really put a lot of effort, guys, right? Yesterday we were building a lot of this range, right? We were building the possibility of one scenario. We understood the invalidation. If this were to be the case, we are flipping directly to our next option, which is this one, right? We flip easily as soon as certain levels are hit, right? We go from this one to this one, okay? And you can see this one played out very, very nicely. For the moment, it is grinding up. It did pump up a couple of $1,000. And now the idea is that, can we break through, right? We're going to get a simple pattern here for the average viewer, right? Could it be the case that we do form a little bit of a flag here, right? And we are forming a cup and handle, right? This is an easy pattern. I know that, a lot of you people do know this pattern, right? It is just a nice, simple cup and handle, right? We want to keep it a little bit simple and easy for the viewer as well. Could it be that we're forming a cup and handle formation, right? Of course, there is Elliott wave analysis. There is confluence as well, as we do possibly form this handle, right? Can we form a higher low here and then get the breakout, right? Can we form a little bit of a channel formation, maintain this higher low, which is crucial to then get a squeeze out? There is a lot of liquidity. I will be explaining a little bit in detail what will be interesting, right? Because we might get it on stream. We might get it on stream. We might see the setup live. We might not see it live. It might be in the next coming hours. But we'll be focusing on that, okay, throughout today's live stream, okay? So I need that like button to absolutely fly, guys, because we talk about many scenarios. Nobody knows if we're going to reject here very aggressively, break down, or will we sweep liquidity and then move to the upside. There is still that potential. There is still that possibility. I want to know, what do you feel, guys? Okay, very important to get that poll here. Will we get a big move up soon, guys? Let me know. Yes or no? Easy, right? Will we get a big move up soon? Yes or no? Let me know right away. Well, I'm going to also put fake outs, right? Fake out, then down hard, or yes, but only 87K max, right? Let's give a few options. Give a few options here for this poll and let me know right away what do you think, guys, okay? And then we'll get through the analysis. We're going to keep it nice and cool. We're getting some people joining. We're getting that like button destroyed. That's what I like to see, because then, that gives me energy, guys. That gives me energy. If not, I'm feeling down. If I don't see the likes and I don't see, I feel down. That, right? Yes or no? Are we going to get a big move up soon? What are the votes? Yes. 44% of people say yes. Fake out, then down hard. We're not even going to break out or attempt it. Sunday highs. What are the people saying here? Yes, but only 87K max. 18% are with the fake out scenario as well. Some people are saying, no, we're not even going to break out. 44%, lots of people saying yes, that we are going to get fake out, then down hard. All right, let's go. We're going to go through the comment section. First of all, say hello to the beautiful community, guys, because it is looking relatively interesting, this price action. This is extremely corrective. It is extremely corrective, as we did analyze yesterday, and we could be on the formation of a new wave up here, okay? There is the possibility of squeezing out here, right? Maybe a double 1-2 scenario, then 3. We get that 3 push up, 4, 5, right? We just continue a little bit of momentum to the upside. Then eventually we are looking for that correction, right? Could that be possible? Are we forming another zigzag correction, zigzag right over here? You know, there's just multiple scenarios. We are at a difficult level, okay? We are at a difficult level because when we do consider the uptrend that we've had from the last few days, right? This is what you have, right? You have this kind of ascending contracting move, ascending wedgie structure, right? That we were eyeing throughout the last few days. However, this is taking a long time, right? It did take a long time to develop this wave right over here. So we may be looking at something else. It would be nice to start seeing the, you know, the possible breakdown. But yesterday, focusing on this range, it was just looking a little bit too corrective, right? No intentions of moving down. And this is why we came to the conclusion throughout the end of the stream of, hey, maybe this is actually not going to move down, and we're going to have that push to the upside and try and break Sunday highs, right? This is extremely corrective price action, and it doesn't look like we want to push down by the looks of things, right? So let me know in the comment section anybody that managed to get into a long position. Some people were shorting here, the 0.88. Also, I think based on this analysis, right, we could be forming a flat, sweep down the lows again, bit of volatility kicking in at the end of the stream. And then we swept the lows and we got this movement up. Let me know if you did short, did you long, guys? You know, what kind of trading you done throughout the last 24 hours. Also, if the analysis did help you, right? Let me know right away, and we'll be kicking off the analysis, right? We need to kick off the analysis. I took the short drop yesterday, but didn't make any money. Well, this is the thing, right? Where did you short? Because if you look at this, right? This is really projecting the next possible move. If you enter into a short here, and we are looking for this movement down to get a bounce, to get back up, right? Then I think it's pretty obvious, right? Where if you're in a short position where you need to take profit, as soon as you sweep up the lows of yesterday's little range, you need to take profit, right? You know, these projections, you know, they are backed up by, you know, Elliott wave theory. They are backed up by analysis. So, you know, there is the chances, right? Maybe it can be, you know, maybe it's wrong. You know, not everything is right. We're just looking at the different probabilities based on the movement. So if you did short, then you missed out in taking profits here. I short this pivot high on an ABC flat, and I took profits with $1,000 move down. You know, that's it. It's a day trade, right? You know, if I can make a 2-3 to 1 risk reward on a trade, I'm getting out, right? I know it's nice to, if we drop down, you know, I'm in an epic trade, but we're very rangy, right? Throughout the last few days, you know, since the weekend, this is a very rangy formation, and we are still in an uptrend, right? It does look like it's getting exhausted, right? It does look like it's getting exhausted, and we want to see that leg down, right? I'm not going to lie. When you do take a look at this chart, right? Anybody that, you know, has some basic knowledge, you can see the potential, right? The potential of rolling down from here. Look at the market. It's downtrending, and this looks like one bounce that it's just going to form another lower high, right? It does look like it, and the price is getting very choppy, right? It is getting very choppy. So interest in shorts right now to try and catch the high before the major move down, right? If you're analyzing like this, is very attractive. Of course, there's the danger of getting the squeeze out, right? It's the squeeze out moment. There is a lot of liquidity. There is a lot of liquidity above $96,000, $86,000, sorry, right? Heading up to 87K. there's a lot, guys. There is a lot. Lots of people are interested in shorting up here to try and catch this move, right? They want to be ahead of the herd, and they want to be, right, you want to be the smart guy that wants to catch the highs before it rolls over, right? And obviously with that theory, you would expect a squeeze out, right, to 87K. You would expect some kind of squeeze. And I will explain why that squeeze is very much a possibility. You know, all of this has given us information, right? As the time goes on, we have more information, and this information has broken the chart a little bit, and it's given a little bit more higher probability to squeeze out above 86K, because it's taking a long time. It is taking a long time, and what we do have here is a possible new structure, you know, this is probably not finished, right? Instead of looking at this as a 1 2 3 4 5 ascending wedge, right, and you were looking for the breakdown, well, you did got the breakdown, right? You know, this is classic, right? You want people shorting here because this is it, guys. We're rolling down, then they get stopped out. You know, you're going to get more interest, people more interested in shorting here right now, still based on this price action, right? Yeah, this is going to roll down, right? It's just ready for it. You know, there is the risk of popping out here. There is the risk of popping out. This wave right over here, if you do consider the ascending contracting move, it's getting overextended. It's getting overextended. And the risk of getting overextended is that you may be looking at something else. Maybe this wave has not finished. Maybe you're going to form a 3-wave move right over here, because you have a 3-wave move right over here as well. And you have, you know, this correction right there. Regardless, I'm interested in the 3 waves or the 5 waves. So there's a 3-wave move here. And there is another possibility of a 3-wave formation right over here. So yeah, without a doubt, it can definitely attempt to squeeze out, okay? And now the problem is, hey, is it a good swing failure pattern? Is this a good double top? They're always a decent, you know, a decent trade, right? When you got a high from a few days ago, you can always consider that. But I do see the risk, guys, of the price squeezing out here, okay? Just purely based on this price action is extremely corrective. This is an entire wave. All of this is an entire wave. And what we could be looking at here is a new wave formation. There is a possibility of a new wave formation. So I am leaning on the possible breakout that could be a fake out, right? We just never know. You can grab the liquidity and roll over straight away, and that will be the end of that. But what I do understand is that the market has waves, right? Has either waves to the upside, to the downside, or sideways, slightly to the downside. And this is a range. This is an entire wave right over here, right? You got a wave right over here. You got a wave here. You got a wave here. Wave right over here. Wave right over here. And this is a bit of a wave here as well. So could we just be building up here a new wave up? That is my conclusion right now. And especially seeing that amount of liquidity that we have above us. So the question is, can it be a nice successful breakout, or is it going to be a fake out scenario? I'm leaning on a little bit of a successful breakout, right? 87, you know, it might squeeze to 88. You know, there is a chance here, okay? Not that a swing failure pattern is not available. It can be available, of course, but I would be a little bit cautious based on the analysis that I'm going to provide to you right now, right? Which is, all of this is kind of a wave already, right? And now we could be forming a new fresh wave. This is a new fresh wave formation. And for the moment, if we come to that conclusion based on yesterday's analysis, which was, you know, this is the end of a wave, right? If you're looking for a sideways WXY formation, and we do end up doing this, and we are heading up, eventually the Y is the end of a wave. And right now we are heading into a new wave to the upside, which is what we're doing today. So now the question is, what are we forming here, right? Because the end of the wave is pretty clear. It is there. For me, this would be the end of the wave. There is a possible bearish case scenario, which is this has not finished here. And what we are forming is this, but the timing is not looking good at all, right? When you do kind of flip this around and you look for another thing, then it's like, this flat right over here is kind of off time right now, right? It's a little bit off time when you compare it to your wave W, when you compare it to your wave X. And when you see this as, okay, maybe you formed a flat in an A wave, which is possible, a zigzag move in your B wave, and now you just brutally come down in a 5 wave to literally form that ABC flat, right, in W, and then you sweep up the lows, and then the price reverses here. There is a problem with this, of course, and that is the timing, right? This does not look symmetrical. Look at this. This Y wave would be extremely larger, right, than your wave W, right? You want to see it quite symmetrical, which is basically something like this. The timing from the waves does look better looking at this, right? Zigzag move here, flat, and then another flat here. It looks much better, right? The timing is very similar. That's what you want to see throughout the waves, right? Maybe a little bit longer, maybe a little bit shorter, but not 4 times longer, right? So, you know, if that were to be the case, where you're moving this around, saying, you know, is there a possibility still for this Y to not be finished? According to the wave structure, yeah, there is a possibility, but that means that this should be the top right now, and you should be rolling down, which it just doesn't look nice. It doesn't look symmetrical, right? But I would come to that conclusion. If we were to roll down here out of nowhere very fast, I would still consider this a larger flat, even though the timing is not nice, right? The timing looks much better based on this one right over here, right? So for the moment, we are leaning on this. So if this were to be true, this is the end of the correction from Sunday's highs, sideways, complex, choppy correction. Then we are initiating a new move to the upside, right? Which is your wave 1, wave 2, or wave A and wave B. That is the question right now. Regardless, you got your third wave here, right? Or your 1 and 2, your second 1 and 2, which is also very possible. These are the kind of trades that you want to get in. This retracement, 50% to the 7/8 Fibonacci from the low to the highs, is where you want to get in, right? How many times do we say, wait for the level to be hit and get a nice decent bounce with very 5 wavy, and then the retracement is going to be your golden ticket, right? Which is the 50% to the 7/8 Fibonacci, because you want to get into the next wave. This is where you want to be in, right? And this is literally this, right? This is the area, 50%, almost hitting golden pocket, where you are interested in the long position. Eventually invalidation here. TP1 is the high, you know, TP1 is the highs, but you definitely want to leave some of that trade open, because you could be in the, you know, formation of a new wave here. So it's the kind of long that you want to maintain a little bit open, take a bit of profits as you do hit the highs of Sunday, and then leave a little bit more open just in case you get a nice breakout, right? We do talk about these kind of examples many, many times after finishing a possible structure. So based on this, right, you form that low. The first wave is the one, the recovery retracement is the one that you're interested in to then look for the next push to the upside. So yeah, we're going to be talking about different scenarios right now. Eventually, these are very, very shallow pullbacks. It would be nice also based on the classic patterns, the classic pattern formation. I mean, this could be it right now, where you have formed already a double 1-2, right? If we were to attempt to break out now in the next coming minutes, I could arguably discuss that we might be in a third wave. You could be in the third wave formation, right? Where you have a 1-2, 1-2 here, very shallow, second 1-2. But if you break out from here, you know, it can be a third wave, right? So For me, a swing failure pattern from here is not liking it, guys. You know, this could really try and attempt to push up to 87K, 88K. You know, it does look like it can attempt to get that breakout, okay? So there is not a quick double top scenario, right? It would be nice to say, yeah, we're going to double top from here, and then we're going to get the large move down. I'm not really supporting this scenario too much, guys. You know, I think it's going to be risky. You might get a trap SFP and then continue to the upside. You know, that's what I also see. So you want to be a little bit cautious with this swing failure pattern, purely based on what I explained. The corrective wave looks finished. This is an entire wave right there. This could be an entire wave right over here. This is an entire wave right over here. And if this turns out to be, you know, a bullish breakout, then you do have a possible new wave formation. And I would be very surprised that this wave actually is very small, very, very small double topping, right? So yeah, looking at the price action, there is a chance. I think there is a high chance in getting at least a move up of a few $1,000s, all right? So there's, you know, what would be nice eventually, something that I mentioned in the legends here, would be nice for this wave to get a little bit more of a pullback, because you do have this 1-2, and as we do understand that this is a finished wave, you could be building up a new wave to the upside. Double 1-2, absolutely, I am buying it, right? What is nice about this is that you could, you know, for a long day trade, at least to the highs, long the momentum, right? Long the trend, the uptrend. You want to long the uptrend. If we can get a pullback down to the to the high volume range, right? Start getting, you know, supported from high volume. This would have been ideal, right? 50% to the golden pocket. We only just retraced to the 382, so it's not making it easy, right? Not making it easy to get into the long on the retracement, because you want to see in a wave 2, preferably the 50% Fibonacci. We only just barely scratched the 382, so it's a shallow possible wave 2, but it can be pretty explosive. Right now we're just about to test, yes, Sunday's highs, right? We're just about to test it, and now it's getting very interesting. Very, very interesting. I think we can squeeze out. We need to come to the conclusion on resistance levels. Highs of Sunday. Looks like we're going to attempt to break it. If we do rocket from here, okay, if we do get a significant leg to the upside, we need to map this as your wave 3. If we get a significant push and we head to 87K, we need to map this wave as a wave 3 based on the potential of a 1-2, 1-2. That is only if we get a strong push up, right? If we get a strong push up, right, of over $1,000, we need to map this as a wave 3. And as we do map that as a wave 3, what we want to see then next eventually is 4 and 5. 2 4-5s, 2 1-2s, 1-3, 4 and 5, 4 and 5. Double 4-5s here. And now we need to come to the conclusion, you know, where could the price, you know, top out, right? And find resistance and start rolling over. Well, we need more information, right? We need a little bit more information here on the waves. If we do get a retracement from here, I would consider a flat. Okay, we got a lot of support. We haven't even barely tested those highs. Let me just zoom in. Yeah, we're just a few dollars off from testing Sunday's highs. So we might get a little rejection here before testing those highs. Just by a few dollars. Missed it. So you're getting the first initial rejections before testing the highs. If we were to come down to sweep up the lows of today, guys, for me, it's a possible long trading setup. If we were to reject before attempting to break out, I would consider an ABC flat and then this a long position. Just jump into the trend, right? Jump into the trend. It's giving you a larger pullback. You got the possible ABC flat. There is the high volume node. Looking at the volume profile, and I would consider the CVD divergence as well. Looking at CVD divergence is going to be very interesting. For the moment, CVD divergence is pushing to the upside. So we are pushing strongly. We're not going to get any major bullish CVDs, unfortunately, if we do get that leg down to the lows. But we'd have to consider it. I'm going to consider it. If we dance around from the lows, it's just an internal setup, guys. It's an internal setup, right? If we can, you know, squeeze in another trade in this region, there's no quick short positions, unfortunately. I do see the potential of really attempting the breakout. I know a lot of people are saying the breakout is very likely as well. A lot of people here on the poll are saying that the breakout is very, very possible, right? We got 51% of people. Will we get a big move up soon? 51% of people, right? We got some bulls here in the comment section. A lot of people say no, it's not even going to break out. Fake out, then down hard, right? Yes, but only 87k max, 11%, right? They do see that. A lot of people are favoring as well the possible large move up. I am also favoring a nice move to the upside. I'm also favoring that nice move. And that has to do just with the reading, right? Just with the reading. When we analyze that all of this could have been an end of a sideways corrective move, it would make sense to squeeze out here. It would make sense to get a nice move to the upside, okay? So there's really not interesting shorts. An SFP can be a little bit risky in this case. You know, a double top scenario, right, is a little bit risky. In my personal opinion, just realizing that a new fresh wave formation could be on the horizon, right? Could be on the horizon. So let's go through the comment section. I would still lean on this local uptrend of today. We are uptrending today. I know we want to be, you know, catching the highs or the lows, but what we do have here, if we do get lucky, you know, very much interested in the pullback to get into a long to literally take profit at the highs. This has been a bit of a shallow pullback, right? Just barely scratching the 382. This one's been nice, hitting 50%, almost golden pocket. Another 50% here to golden pocket would have been nice. And you actually still have a lot of support, right? Which is literally the high volume node, right? When you take a look at the volume profile, you've got a lot of volume here that should support this uptrend before hitting the highs, right? So, you know, we might get one of those fast wicks down, just like we did yesterday, right? Sweep up the local higher lows from today. It might happen, who knows, right? I would still lean on the uptrend momentum, right? Can we get a little wick down here just to squeeze out some, you know, early longs that are looking to take profit here? Just get a squeeze, and I would count this as an ABC flat. You're uptrending. Why not get that first a little shakeout, right? Probably bears jumping in. I mean, it is a valid scenario. You know, respect the trend. The trend for the moment is up locally. So let's see if we do get that little scalp day trade long possibility, right? I would support the trend till we actually sweep up the liquidity above 86,000, you know, 86,100, the highs of Sunday. Let's see if we do get a little bit of a sweep of the higher lows here and then get the push. It does happen when you hit a, you know, a higher time frame. Well, higher time frame. This was only 2-3 days ago, right? Sunday's highs. And you do have a lot of support based on this range, right? You do have that high volume node. Point of control is a little bit lower, almost hitting the lows here. But yeah, basically, you got a big block here, right? Taking a look at the volume profile here. The top of the block is where you want the price to hold, right? The top of the block. So a little bit of a shakeout here would be the ideal scenario, and there might be a good long stop loss and just look for the highs to be hit to start collecting the profits, right? Respect the trend, and the trend right now is still up, and we would like to see those highs being hit. I mean, we're probably not going to even hit those levels, guys, you know, but it's just a plan, just in case if we do not break out now or test the highs, which we just a few dollars away. It's probably going to happen now on stream. The breakout attempt is going to happen, and what we want to be getting ready for, there we go, we're testing the highs right now as we speak, and we are attempting the breakout, guys. Here we go. Bitcoin is breaking out right now as we speak, and now the question is, can we continue up here with some volume? And if we do push up to higher levels, we need to map this as a wave 3. We got a 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 3, possible 4 and 5. That's what we need to start spotting here for the larger correction, right? For the moment, it is squeezing out as we speak. That liquidity is starting to get swept. We need to start checking the liquidity here. The momentum is pushing. Still lots of liquidity to be grabbed, all the way up to $87,000 and even $88,000, right? Here we go. Here we go, legends. Let's go in. We need to get some stuff ready. Get some stuff ready based on the higher time frame. Muy importante that we get some stuff ready here to see the projection, right? How high can we go? Obviously, we need a lot of more information. We need the price to form a little bit of a sideways range. You know, right now it's pumping, it's breaking out. So you just need the price, let it go, let it do its thing, right? Get out of the area, get out of the zone. So we are breaking out right now, and I do see higher prices. I do see higher prices. Let the price push through, and I don't see a major rejection here based on what I explained throughout the beginning of the stream. Okay, so let's go through the comment section. We don't have any major levels. We don't have any major levels to the upside, I have to say. Yeah, there's really not that many levels to the upside here. So we just need to leave the price develop ever so slightly. 87,500 is an interesting area. You got a little bit of a high volume node there. But you know, the reason why this area is important is because that's, you know, where a zone where the price could start chilling for a little bit, right? The price could start chilling. We need to analyze some projections, some possible projections based on the waves that we have. This price action is what is disturbing. This is the price action that's got me disturbing here. Because you can count this as, you know, you can count it as an impulse. Preferably you want to count it as a 3-wave move. But you can count this as an impulse. You know, you can see here the projection. You can kind of count it also as a 3-wave move up here. You got a flat, another 3-wave. So you do have kind of a WXY. You have a, you know, double zigzag in this region. You know, it's a very, very disturbing move. Regardless, we need more information from this price action. Right, we just need more information. You know, yesterday with the information of here, I hope that somebody got into a long position, right? Based on finally coming to the conclusion of what the heck was happening in this zone, guys. I mean, we love ranges. Ranges are absolutely awesome. You know, there was a bearish case that could have played out. which was this one. But then we ended up to the conclusion that, you know, this could definitely be a sideways corrective move. And the invalidation of the bearish case was hitting this high. So we hit that level. Some people very aggressively shorting the 0.88 Fibonacci. This was eventually a take profit zone based on what we mentioned yesterday. You know, we're looking for a rejection move down to 84K zone. And then, you know, you can see the drawing here, right? This was the low. This was the low. After the stream, we got the rejection on this analysis. So we did end up doing a WXY sideways, a corrective move here. And the lows were swept. And now eventually we are getting the breakout, right? So you were kind of interested in being in this move here to the upside as we get that big rejection. So maybe some of you guys did get into the long position. I would really want to know if you did actually jump into the long. You got two options here to get into the long, which is the aggressive long entry, which is you start getting a reaction from the lows. You kind of SFPing the lows of yesterday's range, right? So you sweep up the lows of yesterday's range. Boop, boop. Aggressive entry is here. This is an aggressive entry point, stop loss. And then your more conservative entry is wait for the signs of strength bounce and get into the corrective move, which is the 50% to the 7/8 Fibonacci, right? There's always, when we talk about the levels and the scenarios, which we will come to right now, a few scenarios eventually. But we just need to let this wave develop, right? For the moment, it is trying to push up. So eventually want to let the price develop, right? Let it get its strength or reject, right? We don't know. Let it develop so then we can come to the conclusion of what's going on. Yeah, there's some scenarios here. Would be interesting to see. We'll build up some scenarios, guys. Right? We will build up a few scenarios based on this push to the upside to see what we can look for, because yeah, could there be a possibility that this has been a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? You get the corrective move right now. You do get a little bit of a flush, kind of an SFP scenario. Would be quite interesting to see. But I do see this pushing higher. Right? So yeah, if we do not squeeze out from here, then eventually we eliminate the double 1, 2 setup. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. For the moment, that is not happening as we speak. It is not happening. It could still happen. We might just get a bit of internal volatility, but it still continues moving up. Now the thing is, will we do something like this? Can we reject down here? Which will be very interesting. Very, very interesting. Yeah, because what you know, if we do reject down here, I can see a 5-wave move down based on the correction that we had yesterday. Right? Lots of people would be interested in getting into the shorts right now, as it is SFP. Right? We claimed some of the liquidity. Lots of people are going to be very, very interested in shorting. I'm not that interested in shorting at the moment. Not that interested. I want to see a little bit of more information, right? You know, if we do kind of break down very aggressively right now in a 5-waver, then, you know, I would be interested in the bounce, right? I would say, right, this is looking quite bearish. And then we'd obviously look for shorts. A little bit of more confirmation. Lots of people are going to be very, very interested in shorting right now. But I'm not interested. You know, I do see the potential of the price going higher. Sweeping up these lows is going to be very interesting. What I do see from the end of the correction of yesterday, because this is for me an end of a sideways correction, this is what we got right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got a 5-wave move up here. We do have a 5-wave move up, which is telling me that, you know, higher is likely. Higher is likely. And, you know, what happens here is going to be very interesting. What happens here could be very, very interesting. You know, we're still uptrending. It might be the first attempt breakout. You get a little bit of a move down. What I want to see is a lot of shorts entering, right? Lots of shorts entering here and get those bullish CVD diversions, which is, you know, apparently we're not gonna get just yet, but it might. We might get them. We might get them. We might suddenly get lots of shorts entering on the exchanges, you know, to form those higher lows on the price action and lower lows on the CVD, right? Let's see if we do get that push down. Lots of shorts entering the market. That's what we want to see. Let me just double check here. Yeah, there is lots of longs entering, right? So right now there is some trap long positions at the highs. 8 million on Bybit. Getting into some longs. So we might get a little squeeze here from long traders for the breakout. So yeah, we have the first attempt and first rejection. It would be nice right now. We do have a lot of support. Yeah, this range is going to be interesting. This high volume node area is going to be very interesting. I would really attempt a long position, depending on how we move down, of course. If we just suddenly absolutely nuke, right, then eventually I'm not interested in the long, right? I want to see a little bit of a boom, 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 right? Get a little bit of dancing going on here, form a little bit of a three-wave structure, and then I would be interested. We've got the high volume node here at the 84,000, you know, 900 to 84,500. Would be nice to get a little bit of a corrective move and then overall form that kind of cup and handle, right? Let's see if we do not reject and start seeing some aggressive selling pressure, because this is the moment for the bears, right? If you test a high, you want to start seeing this capitulating. You want to start seeing this moving down fast in the next 1 to 2 hours, right? You want to start seeing it moving down quick. Because if you do not move quick and you just form this rejection and you start dancing around here in a flaggy corrective move, then we got it, guys. We have it. Okay, so we need to be a little bit patient here. I'm interested in getting into a high probability trade, right? Not really just randomly short or long. I like the movement up from yesterday's lows here. I like this movement to the upside. It is a very 5-wavy move. I would consider it as a first initial move to the upside. And what we could be forming now in the next coming hours, unless we push down very aggressively, we could, you know, that is also a scenario that could happen. You know, we've tested the highs, we've claimed some liquidity, swing failure pattern. It does have its reasons. Double top, you know, this is where lots of shorts will be interesting, right? If I ask the question of how many people have shorted here, I'm sure there's a lot of people that will say, I'm in the short, right? I'm shorting this double top attempt here, right? Let me know in the comment section. And I haven't shorted. I don't like this double top. I love swing failure patterns. I love double tops and double bottoms. I love them, guys, as you know, if you're a legit follower. But this one I'm not liking. I'm not liking it. And it's just purely based on the correction, right, that we formed, that we talked about yesterday. And eventually, right, as we did get this, you know, flat structure on the Y wave, you know, I'm looking for the push up above 86K. Right, I'm looking for a new wave formation, right? And I'm still leaning on the chance here So let me know though if you're in a short, because I have to say it's a kind of a valid short for some people, right? You know, I want to know your opinion. The way that we've moved up here, for me, is disturbing, right? We've got a little bit of a 5-waver. So I'm going to give a little bit of a, if we do move down and we get the choppiness here in the next coming hours, and the price really does not reject down with power, because this is the moment of the bears to kick in, right? If the bears don't kick in now in the next 1 to 2 hours very aggressively, this is going to push up to higher levels, in my opinion. Okay, so I'm going to give the chance here to the bears eventually to actually really reject after this potential double top. But if, you know, what I am interested in here is, if I want to short, you know, I want to see a pretty damn aggressive move down, right? And then the bounce, you know, then I would I would be interested in the short depending on this bounce. But I'm even more interested in the long if the price does not manage to push down here very aggressively and starts, you know, forming a little bit of a 3-waver, right? Just kind of a little bit of a bullish flag pennant, right? Just an ABC kind of correction. Because I would map all of this as your first initial leg up in a 5-wave move. And then eventually you're looking for your next leg up here, right? So we need a little bit of time and a little bit of information. A little bit of time and information here. So yeah, sweeping up the lows, then getting a little bit of a relief. And then another push down. Then I would be interested in the point of control of this range, high volume node, golden pocket, pivot low here to the pivot high, which is sitting round about that high volume node, and really look for the price to just continue to the upside, right? Let me know. I'm going to go through the comment section right away to see how people are seeing this movement. Also, I want to know if anybody, eventually, if you did get into the long, guys, this is a take profit zone. You know, this is a TP zone. If you did get into a long position based on yesterday's analysis, just because of the reaction and the rejection, somebody said in the comment section that they did get it. Somebody got into a short, not sure where. I would assume somewhere here, maybe an SFP from here, based on, I'm not sure if he took this analysis into consideration, but said he didn't, you know, didn't make any gains. And if you sweep the lows of this range, this was the take profit, and then start thinking of getting into a long. And if you did get into the long yesterday, you know, at the 84K zone, this is a take profit area. You need to take profit. You need to be defensive with your long. It's a possible double top, right? You've swept some liquidity. You're rejected from the highs. You didn't successfully break up. So if you're in a long position from this range based on the analysis of yesterday, either here, which is aggressive, or the higher low here, you need to take profit here. It's a must. It's a must. Even though if it's not much, you know, you want to see higher. The market doesn't care if you want higher. If you hit a high and you reject, you need to consider the possible weakness. So anybody that's in a long positions here, this price action, this information that we get right now is a take profit. You'd need to take profit. This could reject down very aggressively now. So anybody that got into longs here or here, you know, probably gonna not make those gains, right? So let me know if you're got into the long yesterday, you know, based on this scenario. We know we're looking for a test of the highs potentially breaking out, right, as we do come down here in this structure that, you know, kind of played out very, very nicely based on the drawings and the analysis. And now we're obviously gonna talk about some other scenarios. I mean, we love to focus on the lower time frame, because lower time frame is where we get the meat and potatoes, right? This is what we enjoy, right? You know, we could be forming this right now as we claim this high, and this is, you know, what we last mentioned the last 30 minutes of the stream, right? This is what we're looking at. So we're going to develop a few scenarios as well right now. I mean, the most internal one right now is the one I mentioned, right? The kind of cup and handle scenario, right? Could we be forming, you know, we've tested the highs right now. Could we be forming a little bit of a flaggy situation here, which would be extremely bullish eventually? If the rejection here does not start gaining steam and we do this, then it's game on, guys. It's still game on for the bulls. Still game on for the bulls. You know, respect the uptrend that we do have from the last few days. And I know a lot of people will obviously speculate. You know, this is no doubt that the bears on the higher time frame are going to say, this is it, right? This is the high of the downtrend. This is it. So it's a very interesting area, right? I'm only interested in day trading scenarios, right? So I'm really going to be remaining a little bit patient here for my next setup, which is would have been ideal for this to retrace a little bit more on this uptrend. You know, we would have got to the 50%, right? It would have been nice for this nice little scalp long position to the highs. But as we do see this price development, it's still could happen. Right now, just a first internal rejection. And if we do get that dead cat bounce, potentially form a lower high, we got a possible zigzag formation here. Let's see. Let's go through the comment section. Lots of support. Momentum is bullish. We got the cup and handle scenario, right? So, you know, kind of a little bit of a downtrend formation here would be very, very interesting, right? Classic patterns, cup and handle, guys. Who knows about this, right? Could we be forming a little bit of a flag formation, descending channel formation, and get the cup and handle, which would lean on the side of Elliott wave theory as well, right? If we do put a little bit of Elliott wave theory magic here, we would also see that possibility. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A little bit of a flaggy formation here. Get supported from all of the volume profile barrier, right? And eventually look for the next leg up. Either in an ABC or either in a 1, 2, 3, we actually push up to 87, 88K, right? And we just squeeze out very, very nicely. Let me go through the comment section. Let's go. What's going on? How many people are feeling it? How many people are feeling it? Remember, guys, if you are interested in trading, right, you do have 20% bonus, all right? 20% deposit bonus on weeks. There's a maximum of $2,000. So if you deposit $10,000, you'll be getting $2,000 on top of that. You just need to wait 3 days and you will be getting that airdrop. So you transfer the deposit into your futures account, you're getting 20% extra, maximum $2,000 and 25% fee reduction, guys. You can sign up on weeks just with an email and a password and get that 25% fee reduction as you sign up with the second link down below, guys. Take advantage because you can sign up with just an email and a password, right? If you're interested in your trading. Let's go through the comment section right away. We got 𝗬𝗏𝘆 here, the master. Hi, legends. 𝗬𝗏𝘆, are you feeling bullish? Are you feeling bearish? The momentum is continuing to the upside. We lost 1 minute trend line. Down we go. Oof. 1 minute trend line. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure if you're talking about this one. 1 minute trend line here. Yeah, not the game. We also lost this one right over here, right? So yeah, the market is moving up. The momentum is up. The momentum is up for the moment. So yeah, let's go continue through the comment section. Anybody lol, someone said 1 minute trend line. Yeah, we do not trade that. The momentum is up, guys. Okay, so I would have taken first TP along with 𝗬𝗏𝘆, 𝗕𝗏𝘆𝗽, but I did not. I missed out. Let's go. We already broke and sustained the 848 support. Okay. Can you walk us through some possible scenarios, please? Yes, sir. I will be going through. Of course, that is one scenario, right? We need to remain a little bit patient. We need to remain a little bit patient. If I am looking at this as a sideways wave, we could be initiating another new fresh wave, okay? This is why this double top is not too attractive for me. I mean, you could have scalped it. You could have scalped it. We almost swept the lows here. Get out, right? Kind of, if you did get into this SFP, it is a movement of, I don't know, $600-700. You come almost hitting the lows here. When you get to the lows, it's time to get out, guys. You know, especially when the momentum is bullish, right? So be defensive. Be defensive. I'm sure. How many people are shorting this double top scenario? I mean, it depends on your trading style, right? It really depends on your trading style. You could be an absolute sniper here. I'm getting into the short. Boom, boom, boom. You get a nice move down. 2-to-1 risk to reward. Get out at the lows. Get out at the lows, right? The momentum is still to the upside. There's still lots of liquidity. Let me know right away, guys. Are you shorting? You don't have the balls because I never see you open a position in a month. Yes, well, you would need to see information, guys. You know, it's not all about getting into the trade, right? It's not about the balls. It's having the highest probability scenario, right? It's all about having the highest probability scenario. I will explain trades that I'm already in and I've taken profits, just like yesterday. I was in a trade here, right? And the main reason about this sniper trade was the flat structure. You hit the 1.618. There needs to be a reason for me to get into a trading setup, right? So yeah, it's all getting into the highest probability setups, right? If I don't see a high probability here, based on this double top, based on the end of the wave, I'm not interested either in this short position, and I'm not interested in a long just yet. If we get down here, like I mentioned, in this kind of structure, you know, I would be interested in that scenario, right? Form a little bit of a three-wave structure. We got a lot of support here. If we come down to the levels, if the price comes to me, then I will get into the trading setup. I'll explain it. And they're all day trade setups, right? They're all day trade setups. So you're not going to see me in a trade that is a swing trade, right? Because I look for internal movements. It's all depending on your trading style, right? So, yeah. Before short to low done. Short to the low done, says Simon. Short to the low done. Yeah, so I mean, it depends really, right? Short to the low. If you got into an SFP here, you're getting out at the lows. Kind of just a double top scenario very, very quickly. So yeah, market will never give you the perfect entry. Correct me if I'm wrong. That is true. Market will never give you the perfect entry, but you can be patient. You know, market will give you a perfect entry sometimes, right? Not all the time, but a lot of the times it will. For me, reading this movement, right? There's so many scenarios. I talk about 3-4 possible scenarios. You just need to remain patient. And this is what most of people do not do. Lots of people just want to, hey, you know, give me a short, give me a long. I'm going to enter here. I do think it's going to do this, right? You need a lot of information to get into a solid trade, right? You know, I don't know what's your problem, but you know, it's all about remaining patient and waiting for a good trading setup, right? And this would be a very good trading setup, right? What much do you want to see? If we start dancing around in this range, I understand that this is an end of a correction. I understand that the market is moving up pretty nicely to the upside in a potential impulse. And I would label this as a possible correction to get continuation to the upside. So, you know, it's just like yesterday, right? Just like yesterday when we talk about this scenario, right? this scenario right over here. Don't you like it? We rejected from here and we bounced from here. Now it's your decision, right? If you want to get into a trade or not. So, I mean, if you don't like it and you come in here to comment on BS, then you can go and BS another channel. I only have one ball. Yeah, that's no, just one tiny ball. Andy is smart. He had huge ball, says Jerome. Thanks for the support, my man. We've got some people bringing some hate here. So yeah. YouTubers don't take trades. Well, yeah, I would assume that many don't. I mean, you can take a look at yesterday's stream, right? I will show you I share the trade. I don't mind sharing the trades that I get into, but I need to be in that trade, right? And I'll give you the explanation on, yesterday I shorted exactly here. I took profit here because we were ranging. It's a day trade. I shared that trade yesterday. The explanation is there. It's an ABC flat. We hit the 1.618 extension. Most importantly is giving the explanation of the trade, right? Giving that explanation of the trade, the why. Why did you enter? What, why this? What, that is most important for me, for the viewers, right? It's the most important thing for the viewers. So anyway, that's how I feel about it. Dano, my man, much love to you. Go and check out Dano, guys. He's here right now in the comment section. Much love. He came to Dubai just about 2 months ago. Nice seeing you, brother. Absolutely epic to see Dano here. Andy's a big legend. Lots of love. Much love to you. You're getting baited. Yeah. No need to justify yourself, sir, says Matthias. Very true. Crypto big brains. Smash up the like button, legends. Big retracement down. Big retracement down is a possibility. Aditya, my man, much love to you. Rejection confirmed. We got a rejection confirmed. We're getting the push down right now. Let's see, guys. Let's see. Push happening to the downside right now. Let's see how we do get this. If we do collapse down, then so be it. It was a double top scenario. If we do continue in this area, I do like the idea that we are going to get supported. So let's see if we do get that support. From this range, from this high volume node, rejection confirmed. We swept up the highs. Are we going to get the collapse down? Let's see. How many people are in a short position? Let me know if you are in a short. Rejection confirmed, says Sarah. Much love to you, Dano. Cardano to $10 we have here in the comment section. My man. Maybe at some point we can get to $10 Cardano. Not enough liquidity to go down, and it must take out 87 to 88k levels to go down to 83, says Dude. Yeah, absolutely. Just shorted. Short. Getting into the short. The people are jumping into the short. People are jumping into the short now for the rejection. It's coming down. It's coming down pretty aggressively. We're getting lots of shorts entering the market right now. Lots of shorts entering the market as we speak. We are on the start of the formation of some bullish CVD divergence. We got the high volume node here on the volume profile. That could be a little bit of a barrier. If we start dancing around in this zone, it's going to be looking very interesting. My trading view is lagging ever so slightly, and I need to do something about it. This would be a little bit of a confirmation. Losing the uptrend momentum. Let's see if we are hitting the 50% from this low to the high. Oh, just about. Can we actually flag here this scenario and we form a cup and handle and we smash out? Is it too late to become very bullish? Some people are saying that breakdown is confirmed. Not too confirmed just yet for me. Not confirmed just yet for me. Very interesting zone right now, especially when you do consider this scenario. This as the correction, and you have a 5-wave move up. Are you feeling bullish or are you feeling bearish? Let me know right away, guys, in the comment section. I did create this poll. Right over here, which was, it's getting almost 1,000 votes right now. Will we get a big move up soon? We got 50% of the people saying yes. We got a quick, nasty rejection, right? Not too nasty, about $1,000. And fake out, then down hard, 27%. Liquidating both shorts and longs before going to 87 and 88K. Yeah, this is also the scenario, right? This is the kind of moment that, you know, you're going to get a lot of interest in shorts, guys. Let me know. Have you entered a short position from the rejection? Let me know in the comment section who is short. Press 1 right away and comment if you are in a short, guys. If you are in longs, put 2 in the comment section. 1 is short, 1 is short, 2 is long. Let me know. 𝗖𝗿𝘆𝗽𝗫. Lots of shorts here. Empire trades. 𝗬𝗫𝗵𝗫. Ones. We got ones here. Shorts are in. Shorts are in. People are actually looking for the long. Very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. We got a good base here, I have to say. We do have a good base of support. We do have an interesting structure to the upside, which is this. Very, very interesting move to the upside. A little bit of a sharp zigzag, I have to say. It is a bit sharp. It is a little bit sharp of a zigzag, but it is there. It is, you know, you do have a kind of a zigzag structure here. I mean, this has to be a very, very fast, quick zigzag compared to the uptrend. I mean, this might just, when you do take a look at the timing from this movement that we've had today, and then this zigzag is kind of a little bit too quick, right, for it to be a corrective move and get a bounce. You want to see a little bit of a more symmetrical. So you've got a zigzag right now. You might form a little bit of a, you know, another range here. You might form a double zigzag kind of scenario. It's just too quick, really, to believe that it's going to get an epic bounce, right? It's just a little bit too fast of a move compared to the uptrend that we've had. So lots of people are really betting on the scenario that we have double topped here. Well, I mean, it does look pretty epic for a double topper. It does look pretty epic as you get this momentum to the upside. Whoops, what's happened here? What's going on? As you do get this momentum to the upside from the last 1 to 2 weeks, right? And then you are ranging and then you form this double top. You know, I know it's very attractive for most. For most, it's very attractive. It's like, this is it, right? This is it. We didn't sweep all of the liquidity. There is some liquidity still left there. I was not that interested in this double top, I have to say. But whoever's in the short can basically run almost a free trade right now. if we start dancing around, as mentioned, in this region, there is a high chance that this actually can hold. Okay, so a little bit of dancing formation here in this region is going to be very, very interesting for the bullish case. Bears need to push down. They need to push down now very aggressively. Little consolidation, push back down. If the bears don't push down and we range, I would see this as a bullish possibility. So we got 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 3. Will someone put 3 here in the comment section? I shorted and took 50% profit. Aiden did provide this setup. I want to be a little bit cautious with this double top, but absolutely epic. You know, it was a possibility. I was not too interested in this double top scenario, but it is playing out so far. Price has moved down over $1,200 approximately from those highs, so it is double topping for the moment. Let's see how the price does develop here in the next 1 to 2 hours, and if we do maintain and we do hold this area in the next coming hours, I will give the bulls another chance to get another leg to the upside, right? But when you do zoom out, it does seem like, you know, most of the people will say that it does look pretty okay for the price to reject from here, right? It's kind of, this is ready for the large move down, right? This was a double top, and we are ready for the large move down here. Where we do have a lot of support as well, as you can see, is at these lows right over here. $82,600 is where we do have this point of control. Yeah, this is a good solid level as well, where we do sweep up these lows. And if you do consider this as a bullish move, an ABC flat here is also kind of a scenario, right? It would also be a scenario. For the moment, we're still uptrending, right? If we start dancing around in this region, like I said, the momentum is still up. Lots of people in the comment section saying that the breakdown is confirmed. We are breaking down. It is confirmed that we are going to go lower. I think that the price could maintain this range very nicely. We've got lots of twos as well. Lots of ones of people shorting the market. We've got lots of twos as well. Zero trade. Not trading this momentum to the downside. As explained, if we do dance around in this region, the bulls still have a chance, guys, okay? It's just by the reading the price action. The double top was a scenario. It is a scenario. But if we do consider this the end of a wave and how the price has moved up here, there is that potential, okay? There is that potential of the price starting this new wave up, and now, you know, this being corrective. It has been very, very fast. Of course, we've moved down in a quick rejection, but the golden pocket, 50% to the golden pocket would be the zone for the bulls to defend with this high volume barrier. This would be the area that the bulls want to defend in the next coming hours to look for the next leg up. So we got how many shorts? Lots of shorts. Anybody entering longs? Some one, some two. Check the volume. The volume to the downside is pretty aggressive, right? We've got lots of shorts. Not too much on Bybit. Not too much on Bybit. Rest of exchanges. We got a nice push down in volume. Let's go. BTC dominance will rise, says unknown user. My man. Let's take a look at that. Check CVD. Yeah, we can take a look at CVD. Crypto big brains. Much love to you. I longed bullish. Let's go. World War 208. Bulls have a chance to hold this level. Bulls do have a chance. We're not getting bullish CVD divergence. Unfortunately, it would be nice to see the bullish CVDs. But unfortunately, we are not. And we do not want to see bearish CVD divergence eventually. Because if we do so, then eventually we would see a strong new downtrend possible formation. Yeah, unfortunately, we're not getting any bullish CVDs, which would help. I mean, if we would have seen here the CVD divergence get major lower lows and higher lows on price action, it would help for the decision here. Lots of shorts entering the market. We did get lots of longs on Bybit entering here. So lots of longs trapped, right? We did see about 9 million long positions entering on the breakout, guys. You know, you don't want a long also when you're at a high, right? They're probably getting squeezed out. We're probably getting a lot of interest of short positions on the rejection right now based on the double top. And if we do hold this area, it could be interesting to come back up to the highs. And that is purely based on this analysis that I mentioned, right? Let's go with the music here because we need that music popping, and we'll continue through the comment section right away. When we'll be ready for a large move up, lots of twos here, twos with the longs. Looks like the stock markets are going down. Let's take a look at the S&P 500. What is the ES doing? ES not doing much. Did get a little move down here on the opening. Little move down, getting a bounce. Not really, nothing too aggressive. Low volatility. For the moment, we do not have any interesting news this week, unfortunately. Retail sales on Wednesday. Build permits, housing stats. We do have on Thursday. There is a little bit of news, but nothing too major, nothing too important, right? Longs kicking in, says Froth Dogs Billionaire. When will we be ready for a large move up in this bull run beyond the super cluster? Yeah. Well, when we do zoom out, we have had a pretty epic bull run already, right? When you do take a look at the price of Bitcoin, right? This has been a pretty epic bull run, right? We did reach $100,000, right? Anybody that has been in crypto for more than 2 years was waiting and dreaming of $100,000 Bitcoin, right? And now $100,000 Bitcoin seems like not much, right? 100K Bitcoin is like the normal thing, right? Now we need to get to 500,000, right? Or $1 million. 100K is like the new 10K, right? Whoever's been in crypto for more than 5-6 years, such as myself, I started in 2018 in crypto, in trading 2017. And, you know, 5-10K was the normal price action. Now 100K is the normal, right? 100K is the normal price action. So, yeah, eventually every cycle we go to much higher levels. Two sets of people long in here. Check dominance, Bitcoin dominance. We can take a look at that. Who had Mantra DAO, guys? Let me know in the comment section who was holding some OM. This one did have an epic bull run throughout 2023 and 2024. Very, very strong rally, going from a few cents all the way up to $7-8 almost, you know, a few months ago. And now we can see that epic collapse down. Maybe this is going to be interesting to start DCAing. This, one of the strongest real world asset projects. Let me know in the comment section, anybody that was holding this crypto. I have a bunch of cryptos. I was not holding any 𝗓𝗏, and I would be interested in getting out if I did get early into this one, and not interested in buying eventually the last few months. You kind of missed the train on this. Bull run is over, bub. Kevin, my man. Yeah. Bull run is over. I had to sell some of my Bitcoin the last few months. I'm actually DCAing on Ethereum. I'm going to DCA one Ethereum every Monday if we are below $2,000. But getting out here, selling some Bitcoin, and I've only sold 10%, guys. And I've been accumulating Bitcoin since 2018. I did sell some here in 2021 after this rally, and then started accumulating throughout 2022 and 2023 very aggressively. And I've only sold 10% of, you know, my Bitcoin. 5% at 90,000 and 5% at 100,000, slightly above 100,000. The main reason, the main reason why is the bull run, guys. You know, you do have a classic 5-wave move up. It is interesting to see if we can have another push to the upside. But this is like, you cannot go wrong with this if you've been accumulating for the last few years. And I think 10% is not much, but I'm a little bit of a Bitcoin maxi as well. I prefer holding Bitcoin than real estate, for example, right? Of course, the bear markets, you can get a big major hit, and 10% looks like, you know, if we do get a bounce above 95, $100,000, I would consider maybe getting another 10% out. And, you know, I don't have a couple of Bitcoin, I have more. So I want to, you know, I don't want to hold a bear market. You know, that's the thing. And when you do analyze the bull run, in a nutshell, guys, I want to hold Bitcoin for many years. But if I can sell some at high levels and buy it cheaper, then eventually even better, right? And it's a simple reason why I took 10% profit in this range. And I'm in, you know, I live in Dubai, and I do hang around with other, you know, crypto influencers and analysts, you know, and I did say I'm selling some Bitcoin here the last few months. Not much, but I'm selling, you know, a few Bitcoin. I'm selling about 10% of my entire holdings. People were like, you're out of your mind, right? Why would you sell here? And it's all based on the chart. And it was just a simple chart analysis, which is just we've moved up in a 5-wave move to the upside, right? And even though you might expect higher levels or another push up, right? In simple terms, you formed a bull run, right? You formed a 5-wave move. Very easy to read, right? Anybody that has any basic knowledge of you know, Elliott wave theory and on impulses, you realize that the market has moved up very strongly in the last 2 years in a 5-wave move. So when you do consider the events that have happened in this 5-wave move, they are very interesting. They are very interesting because let's just go, and this is part of the psychology as well, guys, and it's just very interesting. And I do consider that I should have sold a little bit more, but regardless, it doesn't matter. You know, it's profits, and you know, it's cash. And now I'm figuring out what to do with that cash, just holding a bunch of cash as well. You just don't know what to do with the cash, right? As a, you know, Bitcoin for me is one of the best investments. So talking about the events that have happened in this 5-wave move up, guys, then we go through the lower time frames, all right? But just a little bit looking at the psychology point of view of this, when we had the ETF approval, right over here, part of the third wave, so that is part of the hype, ETF approval. Okay, that's cool. We got a bit of volatility, but we got new, fresh, okay, money coming into the market. And then we have this large wave 4, very common to see a wave 4, complex, rangy, up and down, right? A bit of a bullish channel basically, right? A bull flag. And then the next wave up. And then what event did you have here is the first crypto president, which was literally the inauguration day was the double top. As we got, you know, Donald Trump in as president, it was the top, guys. It was the top. I mean, at least the local top, right? The top from the last few months. So, and this is the moment where most are very bullish, right? You know, most are very, very bullish. I just had a strategy based on this movement. If we get to 90K, I'm ready, just in case we don't hit the 100K. And if we get to 100K, I will sell a little bit more at 100K. And it all had to do with this bull run. You have a 5-wave move to the upside. And on the 5th wave, you need to consider, you know, if you're holding a, you know, like a stock or an asset such as, you know, a crypto asset like Bitcoin, you need to consider taking some profits. And when a lot of people are bullish, you know, this moment I had a lot of friends that were asking me about crypto. What crypto should I buy? You know, it seems like that the altcoin season hasn't started yet. I'm down on some altcoins as well, guys. You know, some altcoins for me have been bad. You know, Chainlink, I'm only up at 2x still because I bought at very low levels. But some altcoins, you know, I'm down on altcoins. But you never buy too much on altcoins because then, you know, this could happen, right? You know, it seems like all of the real crypto, the real cryptocurrency is Bitcoin. All of these speculative projects, DeFi, right? This, that, the other, AI crypto projects, you know, it's kind of, why do we need crypto for these different niches, right? Why do we need crypto for metaverse? Why do we need crypto for gaming? Can't we just use cash, right? Why do we need, right? It's kind of, so eventually all of these different altcoins are extremely speculative, right? Extremely speculative. And you know, I have a problem, which is Chainlink. You know, I've got significant amount of Chainlink when we talk about dollar value. And it's something to be concerned about, right? It should be really, I'm not going to buy any more Chainlink. I bought too much. And it's still up a 2x, so it's just buying at the right levels. Anybody that's been a legit follower knew that most of my Chainlink accumulation happened in this range right over here. Most of the Chainlink accumulation happened here. I stopped buying Chainlink. I was considering selling here, but I was not buying any Chainlink throughout this uptrend. So regardless that most of altcoins and crypto, it all depends on where you buy, right? So I'm still up on this about a 2x on average. You know, I doubled my money. It's not a 10x, but still doubled with the current range where we at right now, current drop. It really depends, you know. And I was not interested in buying. I said there was a second chance to buy here, but I didn't even buy in this range. I thought, you know, I'm happy with what I got. I got too much. Anyway, just a little story there, guys. You know, still holding my Chainlink. Let's go through Bitcoin, what's going on here. Because Bitcoin has managed to get a little bit of a bounce at the barrier here. Whew. Now the question is, will this bounce obviously roll back down, right? Looks like it already. We got lots of ones in the comment section. Lots of ones. I shorted Ben Sands. There is a problem when you short here. I mean, preferably you want to try and catch the swing failure pattern. Lots of shorts entering, right? You are kind of confirming the amount of ones, guys. Let me know if you are short right now. Do put one. There's lots of ones. Some twos here. Some twos interested in a higher low, in a bounce. There is that liquidity still that hasn't been swept. You don't need to sweep all of the liquidity. There's no reasons why that you to sweep that liquidity. But yeah, it's still kind of some interesting liquidity that has not been swept there. Above 86.5. Few 100 million shorts. Let's take a look here at the liquidity map and analyze. We've left quite some significant liquidity up here. Muy interesante. We did get lots of ones, but I do see lots of twos here. People are interested in a long on this movement down. Ones are shorts, twos are longs. Waiting for confirmations. Absolute legend. You know what would be bullish? Just as mentioned in yesterday's stream as well, right? When we were analyzing this WXY structure, I did see some people saying that they did get into this long position as well. Looking for a confirmation strong bounce, right? Confirmation strong bounce in a kind of an, you know, when you do analyze this movement compared to this movement, this is eventually a little bit more aggressive on price action, right? This is a little bit more corrective, more sideways, more shallow with the timing. So if you were, right, and we are considering this a possibility here, legends, right, where we do see this as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and now you are possibly inside of a correction. We're holding so far, a little bit of a bounce. You know, if we do range here, it's going to be very interesting. As mentioned, right? Confirmation, said someone in the comment section. You know what would be a good confirmation is actually holding here for the next couple of hours, right? I mean, this is the 3-minute time frame, so you want to see a little bit of timing, a little bit of choppiness, and seeing the high volume node, right? There's no rush, guys. You know, there's no rush to jump into a trade. You want to get into good trading setups, right? There's no big major rush to say, you know, to get into trade. I mean, an SFP, you need to be relatively quick, right? You want to take a quick decision, right, with good risk management if you want to get into a double top, right, on the rejection. But a good confirmation here for me would be this range holding, which it is. That's a good sign. It's a good sign already. And getting a significant bounce that looks pretty promising, right? This is a little bit of an aggressive move down that we've had. So it would be nice to get a bit of a range. I mean, V-shaped recoveries and stuff like that, well, you know, it's just a bit volatile, a little bit difficult. These are the easy ones, right? Nice move up, nice move down, bullish CVD divergence, which did happen. That is your golden ticket. We talk about this scenario many, many times, right? Wait for a level to hold and get the initial bounce in a bullish formation, and then look for the correction at the 50% to the 7/8 Fibonacci if you have an end of a structural wave. So, you know, overall here with a confirmation for me right now, what would be a confirmation for me to believe that we're going to form a higher low, right? If you want to be a little bit more conservative, right? A little bit more defensive and see a higher probability move. Well, what you want to see is something similar to this. You got the movement down, you want the bounce and the correction. So what you want to see here is a significant push to the upside, preferably on the lower time frames on a 5-wave move, and then the correction. this is what you want to kind of see here. Proof of support, a significant move up. Preferably you do get a little bit of a range here, just purely based off of the timing, right? You want the timing to be quite nice as well, right? You want, probably sweep up the lows again. This would be the ideal scenario. Timing between the waves is important. You don't want nothing too fast. Could it happen? Yeah, absolutely. But would be nice to see a little bit of symmetry, right? You want to see a little bit of symmetry compared to the impulsive move. So the ideal long position, I mean, unless, you want to catch the lows or you want to catch the highs, you want to attempt it. I mean, golden pocket was hit, right? Almost hit the golden pocket. But yeah, this is basically the region that you want to hold for the bulls. 50% to the 7/8 Fibonacci. So if you are, you have good risk management and you just see the possibility of the bounce, I mean, you could go in with a 0.5% of your capital, right? And say, you know what? I don't want to see any confirmation. I'm confident that we're going to bounce. We did get a lot of twos in the comment section. And I'm just going to go long here. And your hard invalidation, your proper invalidation is down here, right? And this is the problem right now. The risk to reward is, so-so. It's so-so. You preferably want to get at least a 2-to-1, 3-to-1 risk to reward. But if you don't want to wait for confirmation, then you would just trigger the long, right? Just say, I either win or I either lose. Invalidation is this low. 50% to the 7/8 is where we should hold. I do have the reading of the possibility of a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is very textbook, very nice to see. And this would only be your initial first wave to the upside, right? This would only be your initial wave to the your first wave after forming this entire wave. This is one wave right over here. WXY sideways. So if you only have this push up, you can come to the conclusion that this is either your one wave or it can be your A wave, right? Because ultimately you would be interested in another move up, either an ABC or a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Turns out to be very bullish. That it's a massive wave up. Right? So, with that analysis, with that conclusion, you would say that, you got another leg up. Regarding the trading setup, well, eventually, yeah, would be nice to see some confirmation, right? It's just like yesterday's setup, right? Based on yesterday's analysis. When we talk about this WXY here, which, we did have another bearish case, but as soon as we claimed this high, we instantly talked about this scenario, right? Because that's what you get. And based on this scenario that was mentioned yesterday, there's two ways in trading this scenario. There's the aggressive way, which is you sweep the lows, you enter the trade as soon as you get a bit of an SFP, right? So an SFP, you literally try and break the lows of the range and you fail to do so, and you start consolidating at the highs. Do you want to take this attempt? Well, eventually that's the long with your stop loss at the low, and you are targeting the highs. Right? You sweep up the low here, boom, boom, and then we push up to attempt the breakout at $86,000. That's the aggressive long position. If you do maintain above, you could have that attempt. Your more conservative attempt is this bounce right over here. This is a little bit of a confirmation. You get the reaction bounce, pretty strong move up, and you move down very wedgy, very sideways, very corrective, no intentions to move to lower levels. And you look for the 50% to the 7/8 Fibonacci for your position. This one almost hit the golden pocket. You have bullish CVD divergence. I mean, we did get those bullish CVDs on that movement. That's giving you the confirmation, right? That for me is a confirmation move where I would want to get into a trading setup, right? That's this movement right over here. Whoop, 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 whoop. This movement right over here with lower lows on the CVD. That's nice to see. You got lower lows on CVD, higher lows on the price action. You have your analysis done. You know, your stop loss in this case is beneath this low, right? And you are targeting the highs as your take profit one. So in this case, we're looking at this same scenario, right? If this is just the first initial move to the upside, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you want to see a, this kind of corrective holding strong and another push up here to at least form a 3-wave move or a 5-wave move up. Because all of this is one wave, right? Potentially, all of this is possibly one wave. Then the aggressive entry point is in between 50% and the 7/8, right? 50% has been touched, almost the golden pocket. This is kind of the region that you want to see the price holding. And your invalidation is taking out the low, because eventually if you take out this low, then you're looking at something else, right? You basically need to throw all of this in the bin, right? And you need to come to the conclusion with something else. So to see the confirmation, you can have that, aggressive long entry with stop loss down here. Stop loss is a bit far away, but you just need a decreased risk, right? Decreased capital. A confirmation eventually is seeing a bit more of a channely move, right? Would be nice to see a little bit more of a symmetrical zigzag based on this move. Get a nice symmetrical move just like this one. You want to see a bit of timing, a little bit of holding, a little bit of a range, a bit of holding the area. And then this push to the upside will be the golden ticket. Because then eventually you're looking for the 3, 4, 5. Right? Because when you held this low right over here, this is your first push up. And you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you want to be in these waves right over here. You want to be in these ones, right? But you want your first confirmation pump. You want your first confirmation pump, and then the retracement down to the 50% to the 7/8 Fibonacci is going to be your attempt, right? And this is just like really kind of picturing this scenario, right? Right over here. You're kind of looking to get into that wave formation. But, I know right now it's not looking too great, right? This was it. A lot of people will agree that this was it, right? Maybe this is the end, right? Why the heck are you becoming bullish right now when we are at the highs? The price action looks like crap, right? Why would you even think about that another high is possible? Well, of course, eventually it is possible, right? But this, when you zoom out ever so slightly, you'll be like, yeah, this right over here does look like it's ready for the dump, right? It's ready. It's a lower high. This is it, guys. Look at the price action. It looks like crap. No intentions. It's going to roll down, right? Let me know, what do you think? Well, I did ask here on a poll. We got over 1,300 votes. Dump it all. dump the pyramid scheme, right? Let's go. It's not a first time you're wrong. I still stick downtrend. Yes, very true. Yeah. I'm not always right. Of course not. Right. We like to take a look at, you can never always be right. Right. It's impossible. It's impossible to always be right, when you're trading, and you have many scenarios. We just need to pick up the best scenario eventually to take a trading decision. So it's impossible to be right, especially when we talk about many scenarios. But based on the scenarios, we can come to the conclusion where there is a good setup, right? Yesterday, the analysis was to attempt to do this and test the highs and maybe push through, right? That was how we ended the stream yesterday. And this is the movement that's happened, right? So, but yeah, I would understand that this is a tricky point. I would understand that this is a tricky point. If I were to take a look at the bearish case scenario, because we need to have a bearish case. If I were to take a look at the bearish case scenario, I would I would even lean on the possibility that looking at this price action, what is disturbing? And I would understand that we do get that push down. What is disturbing is this movement to the upside, which looks very one-wavy, right? It looks very one-wavy, either in a 5-wave move to the upside, okay? Or either a double zigzag, but it just doesn't look too great for a double zigzag. You got a zigzag here, kind of a shallow correction here, and then another zigzag right over here. There's no other two ways in reading this. It's either a strong impulse or a double zigzag. But it's a very one-wave move. It's a very, very interesting one-wave move. Either 5 waves or either a 3, either a double zigzag. It's a one-wave entirely, right? You would want to see that. If the price, has moved down here, right? You've swept the highs. Could there be a chance in sweeping up the lows right over here and then get supported and get a new wave to the upside? I will lean on that is very, very possible as well. I would lean that is very much a possibility, because what you would be looking at is some kind of a flat in this region. This is your one wave up. Could it be that it comes down to the lows? There is incredible support down here. It's something that I would be interested in seeing proof of support, right? You do have a naked point of control there. When you take a look at the volume profile, you do have a high volume node in this region. We need to zoom out ever so slightly. Yeah, I mean, you need to break through all of this, right? You need to break through all of this. Strong high volume node right over here from this consolidation. So it would be just sweeping up these lows and getting a reaction. This could be very interesting. I know it wouldn't make sense, right? When you take a look at the chart, right? It's like, what the heck, man? What the heck are you doing? This is an ascending wedge structure. If we break down from here, why the heck would you believe that we're going to hold, right, and get a bounce from this range, right? It would just be a very, very kind of trappy situation for the bears, right? You always want to come to the conclusion on the different trap scenarios. And an ABC flat here, would be definitely a scenario that I would consider. Based on this wave, if we were to move down very aggressively, this is the area that could actually maintain our support. But we need to get down there, right? For the moment, as mentioned, we're looking at the lower time frames, and as I said, it does look pretty interesting here for the price to actually maintain and get another leg up, legends. So let's go right away. Let me double check here how many likes we have, because a lot of people, oh my goodness, they're not interested here right now. They've seen the analysis from the beginning and the possible scenarios, and they decided to fuck off, right? Without smashing the like button. Let's see how many likes. Let's get to 400 likes, guys, and we'll dive in through the comment section. Andy, please check 1 hour's chart support level 83,171. 1 hour support at 83,071. Let me double check that. Empire Trade. Please check the 1 hour chart. Support level at 83,171. Let's take a look at that right away. $171. What support do we have there? Do we have a naked point of control? High volume node? 83,171. I mean, this is literally down here. What we do have is a naked point of control, okay? The one that I just shared with you, which is slightly beneath these lows, below $83,000. I mean, this would be a very, very interesting, you know, you got that high volume node from Friday. High volume node from Friday in this region, which is sitting down beneath these lows, which would be very interesting, because it would be kind of a liquidity grab from these higher lows. That's why, hey, when we do see this wave, I would, you know, if we move down very aggressively to this region, I would consider that this area is definitely going to get some kind of a reaction. Some kind of reaction, whether it continues down or not, very impulsively, right? Or it actually, you know, recovers from this area. But this is big support. 82,600 range, right? Give or take. Let's go right away. We got 𝗬𝗍𝗵𝗫 in the comment section somewhere. Come on, man, just explain yourself. Ignore the comments, too much attention and time. Go back and check how accurate this man is, legends. Jorge, my man, much love to you. I mean, we just need to take a look at yesterday's chart. Who's commenting on hate here? Who's giving the hate on the comments? I mean, this is yesterday's video. What can we say, right? This was yesterday's video. I know people would just say bearish, 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 or bullish, 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 right? Yesterday, we were looking at this scenario right over here, right? Throughout the end of the live stream, okay? And sweep of the highs, sweep of the lows, and get the momentum to the upside to attempt to break $86,000, right? That's the overall game idea here. And might maybe go higher, which is still what could happen. Still what could happen. But this is what was mentioned yesterday. Sweep of the highs, B wave, sweep of lows again, 84K zone, move to the upside. This movement right over here. So, yeah, there must be something right about the analysis, right? There must be something right. 5 waves down on 1 minute. Let's take a look at that. That'll be interesting to see. Yeah, like I said, you know, this is still very, very quick. Yeah, we can go on the lower time frame, right? Let's go to the lower time frame and analyze that situation here. It does look actually pretty 3-wavy, if you ask me. It does look very three-wavy for the moment. Oof. Yeah, it's not looking that great for the bears, I have to say. For the moment, right? Could you say that this is a 5-wave move down? Absolutely. I mean, it could be. Let's go to the 15-second chart, right? That'll be it. Yeah, you could arguably discuss that there is a 5-wave move here. There is a 5-waver. You got the correction. Very, very, very low time frame. I would want to see the price action develop here in the next coming 1 to 2 hours. Still very soon to say. You know, maybe if we do form a low here right now and then get the bounce, this would be much better as a 5-waver. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That would be a little bit nicer. And the bounce would be interesting. Right now here, this happened too fast to consider. If we move down here to squeeze down the lows, then it will be looking good. If the price action does pump up here and hits the golden pocket from this pivot high to the pivot low, then, you know, the fact that we are forming a 5-waver here, you're already going to overlap your wave 1. So that will be a point for the bulls. This will be a point for the bulls if we bounce here. That will already be a point for the bulls. And whatever could be forming after this drop is going to be corrective. And then we push back up to $86,000 plus. So yeah. Lots of shorts entered on Bybit. Let's take a look at that right away. How many shorts entered on Bybit? Let's take a look right away and see how many shorts entered on Bybit here. Ooh, my goodness. My goodness. Yeah, lots of shorts entered. 15 million now in the last, 10 to 15 minutes. Holy moly. Oh, there we have it. There we have it. We're getting lots of shorts entering here on Bybit. And this is actually good. This is actually good for the bulls, I have to say. Because that is just creating more liquidity to the upside, right? The double top FOMO is probably kicking in, right? The double top FOMO short is probably kicking in here. And we know what happens when we get lots of shorts coming into this area. You're going to get squeezed out. Right? So, yeah, let's see. Let's see. But yeah, lots of shorts have entered. Just 15 million, 14 million shorts. Over. I mean, it's on the delta. 14 million on shorts here, and we are starting to see some bullish CVD divergence on Bybit. On Bybit, we are getting the higher lows on the price action, lower lows on CVD. So yeah, it is looking pretty okay. Let's see if this bounce does get a decent bounce. If we do bounce from here, I mean, this is too low of a time frame to consider the waves. We need a little bit of more price action development. But if we get a little bit move up here, it will be looking very interesting for the bulls, without a doubt. It will be looking very, very interesting for the bulls. You got a 3-wave move here. If you move up, then there's no 5-waver. You're starting to look at this as a correction. You will start considering this as a correction. It's too soon to say. I have to say it's too soon. This does count better as an impulse. This does count better as a leading move to the upside. We need a little bit more information here, but so far with the bullish CVDs, it is a start. It's a good start to start believing that the bears are not going to push down here, and the price will get a reversal eventually. in the next coming hours. So let's see. Let's see. You're doing a great job, Andy. Thank you, says 𝗏𝗫. You're very welcome, my man. Much love to you. I'm feeling a bit tired today. So, you know, if we do get a few bad comments, you know, I will feel attacked and I want to respond to them. Same way it could be a 5-wave within the third one. Very possible. Why not? Yes, my man. Same way. It could be a 5-wave within the third one. Can you see the cup and handle on the 1 minute? Cup and handle on the 1 minute time frame? I mean, yeah, we're going to leave that. We're going to leave that. Cup and handle on the 1 minute. Preferably a cup and handle, by the way, just as a basic. Yeah, this is not a, I have to say, this is not a cup and handle on the 1 minute time frame. Could it break out? Absolutely. But a cup and handle, you want to see it on higher time frames, and you want to see it at the end of, you know, a movement to the upside. This is where you want to see the cup and handle, when you are uptrending, right? Not when you're in a downtrend, you know, and you see a cup and handle down here. It's not where you want to identify a cup and handle. You want to identify a cup and handle on an uptrend at the highs, basically. Which is still something that I would say could be on the formation. You know, this is the first attempt. This is definitely what, you know, definitely a possibility. And this sideways range that we could be forming in the coming hours, you know, as mentioned, this could actually be that cup and handle formation. You have the cup, and now you have the first rejection from the highs after testing the highs. And now you just kind of form that handle formation here, right? You get a bit of a 3-wave corrective move, and then you break out. And eventually that needs to be supported with some other type of analysis, right? And that other type of analysis is a little bit of Elliott wave theory. You know, if you're looking at this to be the end of a corrective structure, you are looking at this to be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 possible correction in this area, and then move to the upside. Let's go right away. Continue through the comment section. It's a bear flag. Andy is the man. It's a bear flag, a bull flag, right? Or a bear flag. If we zoom out in the higher time frames, right, you would arguably discuss this is the moment for the bears to push down, right? It is the moment for a lower high, right? Especially with this very poor price action. Right, you might think, what a bad bounce here. This is just ready for the rollover, right? It kind of looks ready for the rollover. How many bears out there, guys? Press 1 for the bears. I want to see the ones coming in the comment section for the bears. This is the top, double top scenario. Let me know right away. Let's get those bears in the comment section. 2 for bulls, guys. Number 2 for bulls. Are you still maintaining bullish? 1s are bears, 2s are bulls. Let's see how many. Do we have more bulls or do we have more bears in the comment section? Wow, lots of bears for the moment. We got lots of bears. 1s, 1s, 1s. A few 2s, not as many. There we go. We got some bulls kicking in here. The fight is real between bulls and bears. The fight is very real. Lots of bulls entering right now. Bear, 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 bear. 1, 1, 1. Just opened a 10x long on 𝗬𝗍𝗍. Let's take a look at 𝗬𝗍𝗍 right away, because unknown user has said we've just opened a 10x long on 𝗬𝗍𝗍. Oh, I like this actually. Nice little double bottom scenario here on 𝗬𝗍𝗍𝗍. Still downtrending, but I assume that you are expecting the reversal. 𝗖𝗿 looks pretty damn good. I like this 𝗖𝗿 price action. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A bit of an ascending contracting move. Or expanding. Yeah, just about contracting right there. Bit of a zigzag move. I like it. You have your reasons. You have your reasons for this long position on 𝗖𝗿. Looks pretty damn good. Bang, bang, bang. Do. Little bit of a local double bottom here from the last few days. Interesting, interesting. Muy posible, my man. If you are interested in trading 𝗖𝗿, Bitcoin, any other cryptocurrencies, you do have Weeks, guys. Weeks has a great bonus at the moment. It is 20% deposit bonus. They did have a 50%. They do get this out. Okay, so take advantage of this 20% deposit bonus. It's a maximum of $2,000. So if you deposit $10,000, you're getting $2,000 on top of that. And you also get 25% fee reduction. You need to wait 3 days to get that airdrop, okay? In 3 days, you'll be getting this airdrop, as you can see here, all right? Sign up with the link down below, guys. You get 25% fee reduction as well on your trades. It's the second link down below. Getting a bit of a bounce. Getting a bit of a bounce. It seems very interesting. Yeah, I am supporting the possibility of the price to maintain this 50% to the 7/8 Fibonacci and get another leg to the upside, guys. I am leaning a little bit more on the bullish side. We've got lots of shorts entering on Bybit. That's good. Lots of shorts entering on Bybit. Ever so slightly some bullish CVD divergence on other exchanges as well. But Bybit went crazy here with the shorts. Yeah, Bybit went a little bit crazy, shorting down here at the lows. So maybe that is enough fuel to recover. But it's still too soon, right? You got that 5-wave move up, a bit too steep. You know, I'm not expecting a V shape. I want to see a little bit of a bounce, boom, range, right? A little bit of a rangy formation. Hold on, do not break down if you test the lows. If you move down after this bounce and you do not break the lows, that is where it's going to be becoming very interesting. Very, very interesting. If you just hover around here, then the leg up here is, you know, will look very highly likely to happen. Okay, so let's see. Let's go. We did get lots of ones, lots of bears, lots of bulls as well. Long in bonk, says Manuel. Absolute legend. Double bottom, just manipulation for liquidity grab. Yeah, very true. We still have a lot of liquidity to the upside. Maybe 3 waves on the 1 minute time frame has already finished. The only problem about this 3-wave move down, okay, let me just quickly give that explanation of the timing, right? Timing is important. It's not incredibly necessary. I mean, it does affect eventually the probabilities, but when you do take a look at this 3-wave move down and this entire move to the upside, for this to be the end of the correction and now the price suddenly starts moving up, there's a problem with timing here. This happened too fast, right? It's like getting a 3-wave corrective structure after this movement up, and you have this 3-wave here, and you will believe, oh, this is it, right? Can this be the 3-wave move down, right? Can this be the 3-wave move up? Well, when you take a look at the timing of this 3-wave compared to the timing of the move up, it's a little bit shallow in time, right? This is very, very shallow in timing compared to the movement up. So looking at the symmetry of the impulse and the correction, similar in price action and in timing, is very important, right? So if you were to believe that this was the low based on this three wave, you realize that the price got the bounce but tested the lows a bit more, and then the timing from the impulse and the correction is then a little bit more similar, right? Even the correction is longer, right? Then it's similar in timing, a little bit longer the correction. So when you do consider this movement to the upside right over here, then you know this three wave corrective move has been very, very fast. So ideally you do get a kind of another movement up potentially, and then another movement down, you know, to see the timing more similar, right? Get the timing at least cross the 382, right? 382 is the golden zone to at least pass. But I mean, it's not a must. I can say price action is what leads the movement, right? Preferably you do cross at least the 382, which is sitting here round about tonight, round about 4 hours from now. Yeah, around about 5 hours from now. So you would at least want to see a bit of a range here, a bit of a movement down, you know, and then get the recovery. That would be ideal, right? That would be the ideal scenario. Of course, price action is what leads, right? So, you know, possibly this could have been the three wave, and the price suddenly V-shaped from here and starts getting bullish again, right? So, you know, it just would be the ideal scenario that you actually range a little bit, you test the lows, you know, you don't manage to break, and you do form a little bit of a sideways momentum. You do not successfully break down. You got more information that the bears are not managing to push down from this zone, and then eventually you're interested in the long position, right? Then you're interested in the golden pocket. You're interested in this golden pocket 7-8. Round about the 50% to the 7-8 is really where you want to hold here in this area to get the next leg to the upside. So yeah. Right. Let's go through comment section, see what's going on. Was one of that shorts already stopped? Can't you see a dead cat bounce, man? Yeah, absolutely as well. Very, very possible dead cat bounce. This is part of a dead cat bounce. You know, like I said, now with this aggressive move down, dead cat bounce, resistance, support resistance flip right now. Boom, test the lows. This could still be very much developing, guys. You know, this could still be very much developing. You got your first A wave here. If it were to be the bullish case, then you know your three wave bounce, and then your 5 wave move down, and then eventually, you know, you're looking for then the ABC. Maybe the ABC is going to be aggressive. Maybe it's going to be very sideways. If you start pumping up in this area, you know, I do see it being a sideways corrective move, and then, you know, moving to the upside. So yeah, legends, let's go here through the comment section. Just a quick hello. Are you feeling bearish? Lots of bears out there saying that this is a double top, right? It does look like it, I have to say, but I'm still leaning on the possibility of the price pushing higher, guys. Let's see what happens, right? And a very interesting level to hold as support if we were to be crumbling down, as mentioned before on the stream, are these lows right over here. Sweep up these lows, you've got that naked point of control. This would be an interesting area for the price to hold on and get a bounce. Okay, but for the moment, we got a lot here to break. We got a lot to break, and this could be the end of a structure. And now we're just starting a new wave to the upside. So let's see what happens. Andy, what happened to the Bitcoin Census girl? Yeah, she left. She's gone. Orange Hitler's bearish. Negative comments equal people who just lost money and liquidated their account. You're doing great, Andy. Bitcoin Census. Thank you very much, 𝗕𝗏𝗽𝗫. Much love to you. Negative comments equal you don't have cards, guys. Smash the like, everybody. Tito. Most consistently correct trader on YouTube. Thank you very much. Much love to you. Much love to you. I'm sure there are great crypto analysts out there, but there's also a lot of very bad ones, right? There's a lot of very bad ones, I assume, right? It's very hard. It does take a lot of time, a lot of preparation to realize, what is the highest probability move. I wish it could be so easy as just, yeah, this is going to hold. Let's just all long. Let's just all short. We really work to see what are the different possibilities on as we developing the movements, because as we were developing the movements yesterday, guys, I was leaning on the possibility of a bearish case, right? There was a bearish case. It wasn't beautiful, and this is why we said later on that as this 5-wave move to the downside was an expanding move, it just doesn't look good, right? And if you have another possibility of a correction, right, you need to consider the other one, because expanding moves are rare scenarios, right? If you're looking at this as a wave 1 or a wave A, and claiming this high was a confirmation with this movement that we instantly flip on the other scenario, which was this one. This is how we ended the stream as soon as we claimed the high. Some people shorted the 0.88 Fibonacci here, like very aggressive. This could have claimed the highs. It could have SFP'd from here. Not an easy short, but the idea was to come down to the lows of this area, right? And then get the push up to $86,000 plus, right? Maybe to break out. We're currently not breaking out successfully, so that's information that we got. If anybody longed, we instantly said, if you longed yesterday based on this movement to the upside, this is a must-take profit. Get out, take your money, run away, protect your position. This could be a double top, and the price is going to start moving down aggressively. I don't know, right? I'm still leaning on the, based on this formation, that we could get another push up, and we might hold on this area, guys. We might hold on here, this zone, for another push up. It's possible. The best shorting trade eventually would have been that SFP, right? Getting in here on the rejection from the highs. But anyway, right? You know the deal. The idea of short here is difficult. We did hit the 0.88 and we got the rejection. It did SFP, so it's a nice movement down to the lows. You're getting out here, and then you start thinking in long positions based on and this information to give this the highest probability scenario came after we hit this high, right? So you realize, once you hit a level, how you can you basically shift to another scenario, right? Which was at the end, this one right over here. We didn't break out successfully, so for the moment we're getting that rejection, that double top, and there's right now, let's see. So far the bears are not kicking, so if we do get lots of bullish CVD divergence from these pivots, and we get lots of shorts entering here, and we're still holding, we're looking for another high potentially. Legends, lovely to see the consistency and patience with your TA Absent heavy reliance on market 𝗖𝗿𝘆𝗽. Refreshing indeed. Thank you kindly so far. All that you bring of the legends. J. Charles, much love to you. Love the content, Andy, says Carl. Thank you, mate. You're very welcome. Just information. Love your streams, Andy, says Christian. Much love to everybody. Most consistent trader on YouTube. Thank you very much, my man. 𝗖𝗿𝘆𝗽𝗫. Much love to everybody. I've been over 2 hours. Need to give. We are coming down again, Andy. Let's go take a look at the price. Coming down again. Yeah, I mean, if we want to zoom in on the 1 minute time frame, yeah, then it's very, very likely that we do sweep up this low. We might get a reaction bounce as we sweep up this low. And then we have a 5 waiver. I mean, as mentioned, we have taken a long time with this new movement up, right? So unless the bears start kicking here down very aggressively, if we, this is still very, very quick in time. This is probably going to range in this area. The question is, will the bounce be a B wave and then a low here, a C wave, and then we get the push up? Or will this bounce that possibly can happen will push the price down in a wave 3? Right? That is the question. But it's still very soon, very fast. So we need a little bit of more time here. We need a bit more of proof of support, a little bit of more time in this region. That is if we do not break down, right, very aggressively. So holding here this area in the next coming hours will be very interesting for the reversal. This is too fast, too quick. You cannot expect a V-shaped recovery from here. It's just we need a little bit of more timing. We need a little bit of more time to develop, right? So let's see if we can find that proof of support, right? For the moment, we've got a 5 wave move to the downside, quite aggressively. We need a little bit of more timing from this pivot low to the high. There's a lot of time here, a lot of time, right? This is in between yesterday and today. So we could be in this area for many hours. If we are going to be in this area for many hours, it will be looking pretty interesting to get another push to the upside. Legends, I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you very much for joining today's stream. That like button didn't do too well. If you didn't smash the like button, make sure to do so, guys. If you enjoyed the content, smash it up. Okay, let's get to 500 likes at least. And I will see you in the next one.